If there were any areas that you felt that, at this point, did you go through this?
Yes.
Okay. How is it that I'm here and I lose stuff?
You're sitting next to me.
I know, it's a bad omen there.
Rubs up.
For your, I did do for the last two, for the November and the January and the February budget report, did breakdowns and analysis that you had asked for to bring forward. Do you want that information now?
Yes, I would,
Okay.
and only because
No, that's
it'll
fine.
serve us well, because we're working on the budget right now,
Right.
and I think it would be good to be discussing that information.
Okay, well, let me jump to that. That's, what I do and done at every department I've worked in, go through
Do
the,
you have something, for us, a report for us?
I didn't make copies for you, it's my analysis. But looking at the January, the beginning of, as of March 2nd on the 11th, what I do is I go through every single line, I look at what we spent so far, what our spending history has been as compared to our, the averages. You see on Francine's sheet, we talked about a monthly average.
Yes, I did see that.
And then what I do is I go by each line and I come up with, based on where we are currently at the time for that report, a best and a worst case, best educated guess you could do at that time and place for what would be left at the end of the year, positive or negative, in each individual line. The analysis I did on March 2nd, based on that information, the budget information we had at that point, showed that on the high side, the best case, the best scenario, we could have over 190,000 left over. Worst case, at that time, came up with about 31,000 left over. I then did, the next time the next budget sheet came out on March 11th, looking at it again, went through every line and again did the same process, did the math for every single line. Best case, worst case, what I came out with was that we should be somewhere between 185,000 and 58,000 left at the end of the year based on our current spending trends. Now that said, that's talking about 2/3 of the way through the year. Overtime could go up, overtime could go down. We talked about if there's going to be an issue with gas. Spring is a training time. You've signed some manifests for training, so that's going to have some impact. But again, based on our history of what we've spent compared to the average, that's the best estimate right now, best case to worst case.
So there is, you see it right now that we would have funds available to us, or we would be in a position to return money to the town. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Again, obviously barring any major disasters or, but again, I looked at, we had some months where the overtime was very high, so that gets figured in. But yes, that's what I came to as of March 11th. Obviously, every month that goes on, we have more history, and that starts narrowing down. That's why the numbers start consolidating from what they were on the first report I gave you.
Okay.
So if I can, bottom line is that while, you look at the report like we all do, and some lines are up and some lines are down, from a bottom line point of view, if history remains more or less what it's been for the first 8 months of the budget year, we would be returning money to the town.
Okay, so there would be funds, that leads into the segue, there would be funds available to do an audit.
Whatever you wanted to spend. I mean, obviously we would figure that back into this. As I said, I was anywhere from 185 to 58, so I guess I would caution that depending on what it's gonna cost, if it's gonna be, I don't know what those type of things cost, if it's gonna be, you know, 60,000 or more, you know, we would want to know sooner than later, if you will, so that we can basically account for that money in, you know, in this analysis, that it's basically gone or is committed, if you will.
I do not have what a cost of an audit is, for the simple reason, for two reasons. First of all, that I did not call a particular company and say, how much are you going to charge for an audit? Because the way the town works it is that the town puts out what they call RFPs, and I did get from the town
That's
several samples.
Request for proposals?
Yes, request for proposals. Several samples of RFPs that they have done in the past to use as models for us to put together this RFP. I did come up with, I believe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I think it's five different companies that do this. And those names were given to me. There's one that's located in New Hampshire. There's some that are further away. There's some that are much further away. So that's as far as I went, but we have to put together what we want included. Now, I had some discussion about, you know, what should be done as far as an audit, you know, what the scope of the audit should be. And this is simply for discussion, that I think it should be a performance management audit of the operation review, and examine the functions, the operations, and the management systems and procedures, and assess the efficiency and the effectiveness of the department. And what we have to do is, in some fashion, incorporate this and send it out to these companies.
Right, I think included in that, because it's not just a management study.
No, it's a performance.
Right, but included with that should be interviews of current employees, interviews of prior employees, staffing, checking with, finding out if we have enough officers, if we don't have enough officers, depending on the size of our town versus what the national standards are with surrounding towns, that sort of thing. So it's not just a staffing study, it's to find out where the department as a whole, and where as a community as a whole, is lacking or progressing. It's just, in my opinion, it needs to go, like I said, from top to bottom, meaning all the way down the list of employees that work here. There's a lot that is involved in that. It's finding out what the average number of calls for service are, if we have enough vehicles out there, if we have the manpower. So it's not, in my opinion, just a performance management study. I don't know if I made that clear when I brought that up, but if I didn't, I'll make it clear now that it's a complete study and audit of the police department and its operations, its issues with management style, if there is any issues, what type of, whether it's discipline, whether it's, like I said, it just runs the full gamut, a complete audit to find out if we're excelling or if we're deficient in a lot of different areas. It's not just, the way I understand what you're saying is it's an audit for a management study.
No, I was not saying that. I was just saying that that's some of the information that that I had put together.
Okay.
I am not the person to decide what's going to be done. I'm just bringing this forward,
Okay.
that we have to work on what we want to put in the request for proposals, and we can put all of this in there, and I have no problem,
Right.
and send it out to these or those that have been suggested to us,
Right.
okay? And that's what we can do, and
Right.
and that's why I brought it here this
Okay.
evening to do that, and I've incorporated all those notes, and I would like to work with somebody to get this
Right.
put together.
I mean, some of the things we need to look at is, do we have enough vehicles, do we have enough equipment? Is the department top-heavy when it comes to command staff, or are they light when it comes to command staff? What's the supervisor patrol officer ratio? What should it be? What's optimal? So there's a lot that we need to incorporate in that, and we can go off of some other studies that have been done when it comes to those requests from other departments. But I just don't want it to be
Do
thought of
you want this to be something that the commission is going to put together, or do you feel it's something that the commission should put together?
as opposed to, chief.
Yeah,
I think the commission, I don't think the
With
chief,
all due respect,
We can't
nobody in the
ask
department
him.
can put that together.
you can't ask the department to make a request.
okay, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
so it's going to, what I'm saying is, now that you gave me the answer to that question, it's going to fall to the commissioners,
But yes, because we would be the ones ordering the audit.
okay?
And, when I say audit, that's what I'm talking, it's a study. It's not necessarily auditing the dollar bills.
I know that,
It's
yeah,
a study to find out
right.
what the shortages, the shortcomings of the department might be, as opposed to what the strengths of the department might be.
Right. I just brought this information forward because based on the town's
Right.
administrative code or whatever it is, that you have to put out, you have to do it by RFP.
Right.
And so we need to follow that guideline as
Right.
far as doing that. And this is the companies, and I needed to be fully aware of what we wanted included in there, and to ask who is going to, put these things, who's going to do the work to put it together.
I think the commission, I think there's a couple of ways that we can go as well, is once these companies, inquiries are made through these different organizations and corporations that do this type of work, they also will have, not templates if you will, but they also have.
Yes, that's right.
They will give you an idea, well, these are the type of studies that we do, these are the type
Right.
of things that we look at. And they will, you can do à la carte, if you will, or
Yeah.
you can do the whole ball of wax. I mean, there's a whole bunch of
Okay.
different ways of looking at it, so. But we need to, I think if we contact the representatives of those companies, like I had on a different matter, then they give you an idea of what they do and what they don't do.
Right. Okay, so it's been decided that the commission will be the one to put together the RFPs and send them out, and to decide on what the scope, to define what the scope is,
Correct.
okay? And I don't think we need a motion, I think we basically need just consensus.
I think, didn't we have a motion?
Yes, we
I think
did,
it's
there was a motion, but that motion was just to do an audit, okay?
Well,
And now that we
today
have
we're
the chief,
we're clarifying today what that,
right,
the term audit is going
Right.
to cover.
but I had also asked the chief to come in and give us some idea about the dollars, and he just did give us an idea, so,
About the dollars for,
where the budget was going.
Right.
That's why I asked him to go through that exercise. Okay? Thank you.